I got to read this really quickly because we got a $20 super chat from our John here. It says Jamar Cain ran off by Polian and House. Also, Polian ran off Mason Smith, who went to Texas A&M with other recruiting staffers, bringing Louisiana talent and the number one linebacker in college football from Covington. Well, those guys were here when Edgerrin Cooper went to Texas A&M. But Jamar Cain was run off. Polian is no longer here. And I got to be honest with you, Carter. I don't know. I'm going to start it here. And thank you, John, for the super chat. I'm not going to get on the fans when they call for Brian Kelly to fire Matt House.
No, I mean, I think that's pretty fair at this point, Blake. I think I thought Brian Kelly was indirectly direct calling out Matt House today. It wasn't by name, obviously, but saying that, hey, we have a QB spy package, but we really didn't use it.
But let me rudely interrupt you.
Go ahead.
If he's not calling it, that goes on Brian Kelly too.
It does. And that lends itself into this next point. I thought this was pretty telling today, Blake, that LSU released a film study every week. Right. Gordy Rush. It's really good stuff, right? And this coming from someone that actually does a film study, right? Their film study, they release a clip every day on their main LSU football social media account. And the first play that Brian Kelly broke down was a play where LSU actually maintained their rush lane integrity, and they ran stunts, which is
it's such a slap in the face.
Exactly. So also, that was the very first play of the game, and we really didn't do that. We kept making the mistake of running past the quarterback as pass rushers, but on that first play, Brian Kelly showed you on the first drive that is what LSU should have done the rest of the game. So on the first third down, they converted it, but it was a throw to the tight end. We had Harold Perkins as a QB spy. We really didn't do that for the rest of the game. Then later on in the drive, we didn't have Perk as a QB spy per se, but everyone maintained their rush lane integrity, and we did more stunts and exotic stuff on that very first drive. And then as the game moved on, Blake, I counted 4 first downs or touchdowns were made when LSU just brought 4. Okay. Now, this is where I would go in a little bit harder on Brian Kelly here. Okay. It's one thing if we want to get into a debate where Brian Kelly's overriding Matt House and making defensive calls, right?
It's not overriding enough.
Right. But it's another thing when BK said going into the game, they felt their defensive line could contain Jalen Milroe. Okay, Blake, that is not good because the film in previous weeks clearly showed that LSU's 4 defensive linemen can't contain quarterbacks. They can't. That was shown in the Auburn game where Robbie Ashford was able to break contain very easily multiple times. Peyton Thorne was able to break contain.
Slow as molasses Thorne.
Yes, he's not, and he's not that fast, right? So that should have told you that we do not contain quarterbacks well. Now, I will defend Brian Kelly in this and saying the defense for LSU does nothing well. That's why it makes this very hard. The schemes are bad. The tackling is bad. All 3 levels of the defense is bad. Everyone's playing for themselves. Our football IQ is questionable. And, that out of everything that Brian Kelly said today, that was the most disturbing. Because, look, and I know I do film studies. I know they've been successful. They've done a lot for, my career and all that stuff. But I am not a coach. So it is not my job, to tell that to any coach. But the truth is, you can see this. You can go and watch all the clips from all the past game, and it clearly tells you that we did not do a good job containing the quarterback. One other point about that, Blake, is Zy Alexander is healthy in this game if LSU was good at containing the quarterback, right? Because the Hail Mary was because, we let the quarterback break contain to the right on a Hail Mary, which you never do. That is the one thing you don't want a quarterback to do is roll out to the right, give him a running start on a throw. it's pass rush lane integrity. It's very basic stuff. Now, what do you do to fix that? There's a lot, Blake. Corner blitzes are a good way to keep contained because it's a corner coming off the edge and you can't beat him to the outside. There's obviously QB spy things you can do. You could have gotten a little bit more aggressive, with your coverage once Milroe proved that he was erratic as a thrower on Saturday night, which he was. He missed some open throws and all those things. This was, to me, worse than the Ole Miss game when it comes to defensive adjustments.
Can I read you my number 4 key to victory?
Yeah, let's hear it.
That I said on Thursday.
Let's hear it.
This is word for word. Okay. Number 4. All right. You can see the writing there.
Yeah.
Number 4. This is going to sound wild, but early in the game, make Milroe beat you with his arm. Play bump and run man-to-man coverage with Toviano and Sage. But if it does not work and he is beating you through the air, clearly you have to change things up. But make him beat you with his arm and show him you can do it. Front 7 and blitzes have to get there. This is what I produced on Thursday. Now, let me tell you something. At what point did you notice that he wasn't accurate hitting the ball deep? He had a dude wide open that would have scored, and he air mailed it by 15 yards. All right, and so you will not say, "Well, hey, I'm smarter than the coach," and neither do I. I don't believe that. But we put coaches on such a pedestal where, buddy, you're not the only person that has played football. You're not the only person that studies it. Carter, this was my take on Thursday that you have to do. Send the house, play man-to-man, make him beat you. Obviously, when I'm saying this, I'm talking about a spy. Get after the quarterback. And they didn't do it. And for me, there gets a point where 3rd down, you could have won this game if you get off the field on 3 of those 3rd downs.
I totally agree with you. I really do. And I don't like to do the woulda, coulda thing all that much, right? It's just not really – because plays happen and they happen. If LSU, especially after the 28-21 touchdown coming out of the half, if you were to get a stop, you totally freeze all the momentum.
Glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
On that drive, 3 3rd and 7 pluses.
Yeah, that's it. Here's the thing that really makes that hurt, Blake, is Nick Saban historically is a conservative 4th down decision maker. So the likelihood that he's punting the football back or trying long field goals is very high, right? Just 1 or 2 extra stops changes a game. Now, I'm going to be perfectly clear here, Blake, and we'll get to the offense here in just a second, but they were better. They're a better program than ours right now. They have a better overall team than ours right now. It's perfectly fine to say that. Brian Kelly made that basically clear today. Obviously, there's some positive momentum to us getting closer to beating Alabama every year or beating them more often. We're 1-1 versus him under Brian Kelly. But man, it's very disheartening knowing that this game was very winnable. And like I said last week on the show, I picked LSU to win this game because I thought Jaden was going to take it to another level.
And he did.
And it still wasn't enough. And that is what has kept me up at night all weekend.
Can I tell you the truth? I don't think that they're the overall better team. Can I tell you why?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I do think if Jayden Daniels does play better, and if you have a better DC, you win the football game.
So you felt you didn't think Jayden played elite?
Shit. Oh no, I did think Jayden played elite. I said if he didn't get knocked out of the game.
Oh, okay. All right. I get what you're saying.
No,
all right,
no, I'm all over Brian Kelly in reference to.
Oh, I know.
Saying, I mean, that is the worst comment that he's made as a head coach here. I listen to every single word that man says publicly. Every single word. That was by far the worst thing that even worse, Carter, than him saying today, yeah, man, maybe we should have run a spy.
Okay. I'll I'll defend BK a little bit because it was directly after the game. That's always a tough press conference, but he shouldn't have said it. He was an all-time great quarterback performance. It's one of the best quarterback performances I've seen.
That was Burrow-esque.
Yeah, and you can make a case it was better for this reason, Blake. His supporting cast failed him. And that's
defensive. Well, yeah, and offensively.
No, okay. Offensively, that was tough to watch. It really was. And I understand that it's so easy to pile on the defense and this, that, and the third. I get it. Okay. But we knew going in the defense stunk. Okay. So while it isn't shocking, it is shocking, right? But offensively, Blake, the offensive line did not play up to standard. And the reason why that hurts so much is because I felt going in that they had been the best offensive line in the SEC. And look, Charles Turner had a tough game, with the snap infractions, the
a fifth-year senior should not have those issues.
Right. But and this honestly hurt me, and I said it last night. While you're watching the game, you're just always accustomed to Will Campbell dominating a game. Okay. This was the first bad game he played at LSU, the first one. And it'll likely be the only one because he is already one of the best LSU offensive tackles I've ever seen. That was tough. It was really tough to see him struggle in this game. And it proved very costly. And look, there are all-time great talents at LSU that have had bad games versus Alabama, right? Derek Stingley being one of them. It's tough. You're going up against the best of the best, in particular on the road, right? It was a tough matchup for Will. And I hated to see it because he's probably my favorite player on the team behind Jayden. I mean, he's one of my favorites. He's a great leader, and he should wear number 7. He's been one of the most dominant players during this Brian Kelly tenure, and he's going to be a future first-round pick. But sometimes you have bad days at the office, and it was tough. It was really tough to see.
Here's why I didn't agree. Well, I don't fully agree. I agree that I think could potentially be Will's worst game. He played good enough.
You see, I disagree with that. I do. Okay,
Carter, you can't score 28 points on six possessions and say that holistically he's doing enough to get a rush lane for Jayden. I mean, he threw for 170 yards in the first half, 169 to be exact. Okay, he's got enough time to hit Malik Neighbors on that. Yeah. Dallas, a first-round pick against a first-round pick. For example, Dallas Turner was always going to get his. He might have not played up to the standard that we think Will Campbell can, but at some point we got to come to the realization too. I mean, Carter, he's got 28 points on 6 possessions. They were always going to make stops.
No, I get that, Blake. I really do. But in the second half, it was tough. It was really tough, right? So it's not just the hit on.
What did you not like about his game?
Okay, once again, I love Will Campbell, and he was great. Overall, I thought he was pretty good in the first half. Second half, when Jayden broke the ankles, got beat to the inside. That's why that play even happened. Then on the play that Jayden actually got hit, Jayden obviously got hurt because Will lost the blind side, right? Then he got
hurt because of an illegal hit.
Yes, I agree. But Will dominates almost every single person he lines up against. Dallas Turner is a very good player. Okay, I'll give him that. Then he had before the Mason Taylor drop, he had the holding penalty on a 30-plus yard Jayden scramble. And that would have been a huge play.
I can't fault him for that. Because if Jayden's, you know why I don't? When he's got the hands on the inside and your quarterback is scrambling left and he's holding into the jersey, which he's taught. Okay? Right. And Dallas does go with him and it's right there. That he fundamentally he didn't make a wrong move.
Okay. I'll give you that.
I gotta be real with you. Can I be real with you? that call should be plastered over on Twitter about how stupid as shit it is. Okay, when you're not giving Jaden a horse collar.
Oh no, I agree.
If you're gonna miss, how are you gonna hit that holding call? Okay, and you're not gonna give him the long run because Carter, I just got to be real with you. They're gonna go down and score again.
No,
like they're about to go up another. They're about to have 35 points, and so I think that the referees are involved in this.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, and so I can't give them the holding. But in reference to them offensively, okay, how about this? When you don't make stops and give them more possessions, okay, like, so for me, if he scores on 6 of 9 drives, touchdowns, okay, that he totally played, even with an interception, just because he had a pass batted up in the air and it gets picked off. It's gonna happen. You know what? Make a fucking stop.
No, you're 1,000% right, and I agree with you that yes, when you're engaged with someone, a hold can happen like that, but it's still a hold though. And then on the next play, I felt like he held Dallas Turner on the next play and it wasn't called.
I wish he would have done. Would you, boy, Shamir Stewart? Didn't he hit somebody? He full Ric Flaired and hit him in the nuts.
Who?
You didn't see that? Shamar Stewart against the Ole Miss. Go look this up. Go look up Shamar Stewart, Ric Flair's at Ole Miss offensive lineman. He like full Ric Flaired in. You know how Ric Flair used to?
I know. I've got to see this. Huh?
All right, well, go look it up right now. Hold on. I got to show you this. We cannot move on.
So while you look it up, let me say this. You're probably right. You know, look, Will has been the most consistent player on this team, right? And I thought overall Emory Jones had a really good game. And I do overall agree with you that it is a defense. So maybe I'm overstating it, but overall I would say if there was one offensive lineman that needed to play better, it was indeed Charles Turner with the snap infractions. But you know, to that point, the offensive line had been lights out in pretty much every other game outside of Florida State, and Will Campbell had not had, you know, throughout his career, I wouldn't say that he had a, you know, less than all SEC caliber game outside of this one. So there you go. I can't believe we went from LSU Bama to
here it is. Can I show you?
That's it.
All right, hold on.
Come on, Shamar.
You mean to tell me that you didn't see this? Watch him. Oh, boom.
God bless.
He got kicked out of the game for it.
Oh my God. I think he just got a bad speeding violation too. I've not really watched any of that game. I was so locked in on the Arkansas Florida game.
Yeah,
but
I was too, but I couldn't take my eyes off of Jimbo losing to Lane Kiffin.
So let me ask you this.
All right.
How do you feel about this offense moving forward?
Depends on if Jaden plays or not.
Okay, so
can I tell you what should be talked about but isn't?
What's that?
You got to slow the game down if you're LSU offensively. I know you're going to get mad at me.
I always disagree with that, but I'm always here. I'm always open to hearing.
Carter, you got to take time off the clock. You got to take time off the clock. You got to give your defense any chance possible. Any chance.
But what if that sacrifices your overall offensive efficiency, right?
Carter, has it stopped him all year?
But that's what I'm saying.
They've been running Logan Diggs more than they did on Saturday. Let me tell you what it feels like for me. Brian Kelly panics, okay, and says, we got to score on every possession, right?
Right.
He panics. But you got to relax in the sense of you can hand the ball off to Logan Diggs for 3 yards on first down. Jane Daniels is going to go off no matter what. If you get a run by Diggs for 3 yards, I'm not saying slow down in reference to don't go warp speed or not on the line of scrimmage. I'm not calling for your ass to huddle. I'm saying for if you give it to him on first down, you throw it or Jaden runs on second down, Carter, you're taking a minute off the clock regardless.
All right. My retort to that is I actually do think Denbrock was going to start doing that, right? So before the Jaden interception, that was the first play of the drive. You know, Josh had the hot hand in this game, and Josh had a really good 8-yard run. And then it was a snap infraction or a penalty. It was a false start of some kind, and then you get the interception, right? So yeah, I think LSU could do more of that, and maybe you're all right. Maybe they do need to have more of these longer drives. And still, to your initial point, you still have to get stops, right? Because in the Ole Miss game, they started doing that. They had longer drives where Logan was.
Carter, they scored 3 touchdowns in 1 minute and 59 seconds. And you know what happened? They did get 2 stops.
Oh, versus Ole Miss?
Versus Ole Miss. Remember the 4th down call that Lane had where what's the
Yates. Yates.
Or Yates. Why do I always call him Tolles?
Well, they wore the same number. So
Yates knocks the ball down. You go down and score another tutty. Okay. By the way, in 20 seconds, you had just scored a touchdown in 36 seconds or whatever it is. Okay. I mean, you're gonna have to slow it down because in the 4th quarter, God forbid if Matt House calls a right call, if he sends a blitz, okay, on 3rd down, you know what might happen? Instead of Perkins being on the sidelines for 2 minutes after Jaden scores, maybe he's on the sideline for 7 to 10 minutes and can rest. You got to give them some help. You're going to have to. Because here's the thing. I have so much confidence in Jaden Daniels. I think if you put Jaden Daniels buck-ass nude in a snowstorm with a football in his hands, he's going to score regardless.
I'm with you. Let me ask you this, because I was thinking about this earlier in the day. And by the way, Florida's edge players are really good. So good bounce back.
Really good.
Yeah, good bounce back spot.
Hey, Ron, thanks for processing Cam Jackson. Continue.
Haynesville, baby. North Louisiana. Let's go.
Idiot.
So there's a piece of me that thinks this defense could bounce back versus Florida.
Can I stop you right there? All right. Well, I was going to ask you why. You were literally about to tell me why. Why?
Graham Mertz can't run. That's basically it. That's my one.
But you know what they do? I just said do. You know what they do well that scares the outright shit out of me?
What's that?
They motion a lot. And I don't know if you know what the hell to do when you see all these motions. You're not disciplined enough. No, I got to be real with you. Let's talk about the Florida game. They scared the shit out of me.
As they should. You know what's funny? I had a buddy who has really good tickets. He just sent them to me. He's like, I don't know if I can handle this defense. And I was like, well, I don't know if I can go. He's like, no, take them right now. Yeah. So this Florida offense is really good, right? It's ironic because
everybody was poo-pooing on Graham Mertz too.
Yeah, and on the SEC channel, I did a film study of his spring game. I was like, he kind of looks okay. He doesn't look bad. He doesn't look great either. And that's, where he is on the quarterback hierarchy in the SEC. He's not bad like he was at Wisconsin, and he's not, transcendent like, a Jaden, if you will. But he's really good. He runs the offense, and this is a Florida team that is very battle tested, right? They play in a lot of competitive games. They played in a lot of tough games, and they need a win more than LSU needs a win at this point, right? Because they've got to get bowl eligible, and there's no certain win left on the schedule. So they're very talented, and I honestly think the LSU offensive line is going to bounce back in a major way for this reason. Florida played in an overtime game that was a demoralizing loss that was very track meet-ish at the end. Okay. That gets very exhausting. There's a lot of injuries in that game, more so on the Arkansas side. So, yes, LSU got back in late versus Alabama, but still, I feel we're going to be able to run the football. I feel Will and Emery will be able to hold up on Princely. I don't even know how to say his last name. Number 1 is their key player on defense. I think we're going to be able to run it, and I think LSU's offense will be fine. And I honestly feel this way to a certain extent, even if Jaden doesn't play. And that's not necessarily an endorsement of Nuss. I like Nuss. I think Nuss can go in there and get you a W. I just like the way LSU's offense matches up with this Florida defense. So I think LSU offensively is going to be fine. It's just going to come down to
pray to God Jaden Daniels plays and goes nuts on Corey Raymond.
Oh, it'd be great.
Their fans are calling him for him to be fired.
I've tried to tell that, and I don't know about your chat. I'm obviously not on your show every night, but I get a Corey Raymond comment on almost once a week, right? It gets old, right? And honestly, when it comes to any new LSU coaching opening, the first thing you should not do is just think of former LSU coach X, because
unless his name's Ron Cooper.
Yeah, I would love it, that. It's been so long since he's been here, but yes, Ron was transcendently good here. But yeah, I mean, like, I get a Coach O comment a lot, right?
So stupid.
Coach O's enjoying life, man.
He's never coming back here.
Most LSU coaches aren't coming back, and the last time a pretty iconic LSU defensive coach came back, it was not a pretty sight. So yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Ladies Tigers are down 57, I think, to 49.
Michaela Williams looks good, but man, it's
good. But they look clunky.
Yeah, I mean,
God, they're going to get ripped in the media so much if they lose this game.
Yes.
I don't think the LSU fan base can take them losing right now.
No, because they're under way more pressure than the LSU football team is. I promise you they are.
Oh, no doubt. You know what they are? Can I tell you what they are?
What?
They have the same pressure that LSU baseball had a year ago.
Yes. And I can even argue it's far more immense because of I feel that way just because, well, the LSU women's basketball players are the biggest stars on campus. Not named Livy Dunn, right? So yeah, it's. I hope they pull this off. Shout out Michaela Williams. I know she's going to get it done.
Yeah, you better hope she does. Can we talk a little bit more about Florida before I get you out of here?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go ahead, man. I'm too nervous to watch the women's team right now. I don't know if I can handle it.
LSU fans can't take this right now. I'm telling you. I'm trying to pay attention to it, but it's just not looking good. Haley Van Lith it appears from what I've seen now. I have not watched it all. Has not had a good game. Florida lost to Arkansas last week, and I got to tell you something, Carter. Can I be real with you? I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly.
I don't care.
Yeah, it honestly makes it worse, right? Blake, you should always be scared of a team sitting on 5 wins at the end of the season. It is scary, right? You will not find a team scrapping harder than a team trying to get to win number 6, right? Because if you don't, your last game with your brothers end in November, right? Instead of December, January. It scares me. It really, really, really does. Florida's got a lot of good pieces, and Billy really needs a W, right? I think Florida's fan base is idiotic to think that it's smart to fire him right now, because they got a top 5 recruiting class. That's the most important thing you can have, right?
They're about to get Jimbo'd.
Oh, you think so? You don't? You're not a you're not a Billy guy?
Yeah, because I don't think he's a good play caller.
I'm in the middle about him as a play caller, but then again, I'm never really on fire about
Head coach calling plays.
Yeah, it's just not at the NFL level. I'm more open to it. At the high school level, I'm more open to it. Not a Division I Power 5 coach. There's too much shit you got to do. There's way too much.
Yeah, and I think it's why Lincoln has troubles.
Yeah, there's too much. You have too much on your plate. It's too much with the recruiting, the media. I mean, I remember, at the beginning of the Brian Kelly era, everybody was so pissed that he didn't do a press conference. Now you got to do a press conference every single day. Okay.
Yeah, and it was something it was crazy. I thought about this today. Everybody's like, "Well, these guys making a lot of money." I was like, and they need to be accountable. And I'm like, name another job that you get paid the amount of money that you get paid. Okay. And you got to do a press conference every day to either glorify your team or glorify your business, or, other than like the president's press tour and whoever the Speaker of the House is. Okay. And the president's speaker. Other than that, and they're defending their points. They're not defending themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I thought BK had a damn strong press conference, honestly.
Today, yeah, I would have loved to hear, because he is such a brilliant offensive line guy. I would love to hear his thoughts on that, because obviously, I keep going back to that because I know it's your favorite position, Blake. Like,
the snap infractions are more abysmal than anything.
Yeah, I agree. It's the most important thing you can do, right? The snapping of the football is, sticking the key into the ignition. Pause. It is what starts everything.
2 of those, though, if you're not going to call horse collar and targeting, you need to let that snap infraction go.
No, I agree. The horse collar, the horse collar was really bad. The horse collar in particular was really, really, really bad.
The targeting is worse for me. Carter, what if we would have been sitting here today and said that he's got a broken jaw? How can you justify it not being targeting?
Well, my thing to that is at least they threw a flag on that.
They didn't. He picked it up.
No. I thought they threw. I thought it was a run.
We didn't walk off anything. Go back and look at it.
Okay. I guess I have amnesia about that. I didn't know they picked up the run.
At least when I went back and watched it today, I'm like, why are you still at the 35-yard line?
I guess I don't know. I guess at the time, Blake, going into the game, I had such
anxiety.
Well, not just that. I just had such a disdain for Dallas Turner because of what he did to Jackson.
Super viral.
Yeah, but because of what he did to Jackson Dart last year. Right. That was the thing that the funniest response to that, and you saw some of the responses to it where Alabama fans are contradicting themselves. The funniest thing about it were people saying, you're just saying this because you're an LSU fan. When I tweeted out a clip of him doing it to an Ole Miss player, right? That's my point. And it then lends itself to this next question, right? And if you want to see it, I could send the link to the actual play in this game, okay? So do you remember when Jalen Milroe, his best play of the night for me was the 3rd down conversion where he flipped it to Jace McClellan?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay. I'm okay with that one. That's just a ridiculous play. When it's hard to mark a running back because KJ got us to Dominion earlier this year versus Arkansas. It's a tough play. So,
and even the perk blown coverage on the wheel route, I'm okay with. Honestly, right. That's gonna have blown. I'd rather blown coverage than what I saw.
Right. I completely forgot what I was saying. What?
I just said sorry. I didn't mean.
No,
it.
no.
But
No, it's
you're talking about the running back. That was his best play.
yeah, right. So, for me, I actually still just forgot. I don't know why. Huh?
Well, if you remember, I'll bring you back in this week and we'll
No,
talk.
okay. What was it? It was something about a running back or some BS. I'm sorry. I'm still hurt.
But that's their only plays, Carter. I mean, you're talking about
Yeah.
70 yards on 2 plays that are busted. Like
Yeah.
here's what it is.
It
All right, buddy. We'll see you next week.